Am să țin îndemnul asta în engleză, că mă rugați să fac pentru tineri și pentru mine e un pic mai ușor să vorbesc și în engleză. So today I would like to have a short little, I guess, devotion out of Psalms. It's from Psalm 68, and I would like to focus on specifically two verses, verses 19 and 20. And since I'm only going to be talking about these two verses, I think that it's important to kind of give a general overview of the chapter, just because whenever you're talking about two verses or something specific from an entire passage, it's good to kind of put that into perspective and into context. So this psalm, from reading it, you can see that it's a psalm of praise to God for all the good that he's able to do and that he does do for his people. And through reading it, you can also see how he will also punish wickedness. So if you guys would like to stand so that we can read just these two verses, Psalm 68, verses 19 and 20, which say, "Blessed be the Lord, who daily loads us with benefits, the God of our salvation. Our God is the God of salvation, and to God the Lord belong escapes from death." Amen. You guys may be seated. So starting off in verse 19, I would say that there's two things to focus on actually in these two verses that we read. So I would say kind of the second most important thing in this, where it says, "who daily loads us with benefits." Now, when was the last time any of us have sat down and actually thought about all of the little things and all of the big things that God blesses us with? It can be from big things like where you're able to go to school, the fact that you guys have a car to be able to go to school, to be able to go to work, where you work. It can be having a loving family or having such an amazing church like this one. All these really big things, and it can go from big things also to very small things, like smaller basic things that we may take for granted, like drinking water or the comfort of our homes. None of us deserve any of these, by the way. None of us deserve to be comfortable. Even down to the shoes we wear, or you can even be thankful for things that you may overlook, like socks, for instance. There are probably some of you guys or some of your parents or grandparents that may have grown up even so poor as you may not have had socks to go to school. So these are all things that we can look around and be thankful for. Our blessings that God blesses us with are so many that it's almost impossible to count them. There's always something that you're able to be thankful for. And on top of all of these big blessings, all these little blessings, we can look later in these two verses where through verses 19 and 20, it continues and says, "The God of our salvation, our God is the God of salvation, and to God the Lord belong escapes from death." This is our biggest blessing, that Jesus died for us. And there's nothing that we could have ever done to be able to deserve just the fact that he died for us. And not only did he die for us, but he brought us into adoption as sons and daughters into his kingdoms. We wouldn't even have deserved to be slaves in his kingdoms, but he brought us as children, as heirs, as children for his kingdom. So on top of this enormous gift of salvation that he's offered to us freely, nothing that we could have ever done to deserve this, he also blesses us with all of these little things day to day, as it says in verse 19, "who daily loads us with benefits." So there's always something to be thankful for. Even when it seems like times are troublesome, or even when things aren't going the way that you think they should. Take Paul, for example. Paul, for a period of his life, was living in prison, and he did not deserve to be in prison. But what was he doing? Instead of complaining to God and being like, "God, why did you put me in prison here? I don't deserve to be here. I just wanted to be one of your followers, and now look where you put me." He was thanking God for the ability to be able to witness to the prisoners in prison. Now, that is an amazing amount of faith. And so just taking Paul's example, there's always something that there's there's always something for us to be thankful for. So I guess the main message that I'm trying to put across from here, from these two verses, is that we must always remember to be thankful for the little things, for the big things, and even when things aren't going easy for us. Amen.
Amen.